go!
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
It has begun!
It's showtime.
I was great.
I'll be back.
This is Video Store Clerks. Welcome to the store.
Hello, TV land. It is another Tuesday evening at 10 p.m. Here with your Video Store Clerks. I am Chad Mang.
Hey, I'm Mike.
Chuck.
Cue Chuck Nasty.
Tonight we'll be going over our usual format with some news, a little clip of the week, some advertisements. But before we get into that, our feature presentation tonight will be the 2014 release of Whiplash, starring Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons, and Paul Reiser. A lovely little drummer film. My little drummer boy.
Oh.
But this will be a first-time watch for me and Mike.
It is. Truly is.
This is Chuck's pick for this week.
Chuck Nasty's pick of the week. Episode 157.
If you haven't caught on by now, we've been doing Dealer's Choice Boards. We go around the horn and fire out some films.
Yeah, I figured I'd
watch
go
them.
something a little different than. Yeah,
I like it.
Can you hear me?
I'm digging it. Unfortunately.
What a dick.
Hey, we're fucking J.K. Simmons is a fucking dick in this film, so fucking I'm in dick mode tonight. Fuck all y'all motherfuckers.
Can you hear me?
Listen up,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
Loud
a big
and clear.
lag here.
You not hear us?
There's a giant lag. I can hear you all, but it's lagging like bad.
There's a giant lag, you said?
Well, that's not good.
There was.
Well, hopefully it'll work its way out.
Okay. Anyway.
But before we get to our feature presentation of Whiplash, let's hop to the news, and then we'll give Chuck hopefully a few seconds to unlag.
Regroup. Figure it out. You know why I threw a chair at your head?
Regroup. Here we go. Time for
By showtime, the temperature will be down to 95, and plus they've got the ice on the stage and the fans behind them, so they're going to be blowing the symphony players and keeping them cool. Cheryl?
Whoa, who?
Well, hey, sign me up.
Blowing the players and keeping it cool. Interesting. I like where your head's at, Marge.
Give me that old soft shoe.
I don't think she wants anything soft.
Okay.
I missed it.
Oh,
Just
watch the replay. Anyway, in the news, we have a death upon us. Mr. Charlie Scaly.
Wait a minute. You're skipping the top 10? Usually you
I like to get all the depressing shit out the way.
Okay. Well, usually the top 10 is very depressing, but
It can be, but number 10's the winner. Oh, yeah. But Charlie Scaly's passed away at 84. He had a long battle with Alzheimer's. He's from Sopranos and The Wire.
Yeah.
So that's some sad news. Another mafioso actor to pass. And that is the super depressing part of the news. The rest of it's pretty depressing as well. Except for the number 10 count for the box office top 10, which is the new film from Nicolas Cage,
Hey,
The Surfer. First week out did $700,000. No millions, we're in the thousands.
that's okay.
There's some bombers coming out. Number 9 is Hit, the third case. First week out did $955,000. What's that, Chuck?
I was gonna say like the trailer made it look kind of interesting, but I haven't really heard that great of things about it.
I don't know. I think it looks dope. I mean, I'm a Nick Cage fan through and through. So,
Yeah, tell me about
as
it.
we all know, we'll let Chuck catch up.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
Number 8 is Warfare. Did 1.2 mil this week, doing 24.1 million in the last 4 weeks.
Yummy.
Yeah, you can already get that. I think it was available on Prime to rent or buy.
Hell of a run.
Yeah.
I'll be right back while you're going through that.
Okay. Number 7, The King of Kings, did 1.7 mil this week, doing 4 weeks at $57.7 million.
Congratulations to Triple H.
I did actually watch this trailer. It is anything far from being anything about Triple H.
Oh.
It is an animated film about Jesus.
Wow. Praise the Lord.
And number 6, The Amateur, did 1.9 mil this week, bringing its 4-week run up to $37 million.
Doesn't seem too amateur to me.
Right? Number 5, Until Dawn, did 3.8 mil this week, bringing its 2 weeks up to $14.3 million. With number 4 being The Accountant.
2.
But it was number 4.
Right.
$9.4 million this week.
I still want to. Go ahead.
41.2 mil in the last 2 weeks.
I still want to see that. I didn't mind the first film.
Well, I didn't either.
What was
I'm
it?
a big fan of the Barenthal guy. He seems like a nice fella. The Accountant, too.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea about the first movie.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's on Prime. And I think on Max. It's on a few different things.
One day, maybe.
Number 3. Oh, we'll make it. Challenge accepted. Number 3, the Minecraft movie, did 13.6 mil this week, bringing 5 weeks up to $398 million. Bringing number 2 is Sinners. Dropped down a spot, did 33 mil this week, doing 180 in the last 3 weeks.
Good stuff.
Which only means one thing. I do too. That shit looks dope. One thing is the first movie is Marvel is back on top with Thunderbolt. Doing 74.3 million this week. Just came out Friday.
Don't care.
So there's your top 10. It is kind of depressing. Not great. Not great.
You know, that's just the way it's been going this year, man. Nothing's standing out. We've said this before. No. We need a blockbuster to really grab us by the fucking nuts.
Well, I mean, everybody's going crazy about Sinners. I mean, I've only heard one person really talk like any shit about it, and you know, and they still liked it, parts about it, but I haven't seen it yet. But I've heard it's getting all the rage. So I mean, it seems like it's going for the blockbuster thing.
The Thing. No, I like Michael B. Jordan, and then I also saw the still with the photo with Tom Cruise. He went and saw Sinners, but I haven't heard anything bad about it.
I didn't know anything about
that. Vampires are my shit, so I'll watch anything with vampires at least once. There's quite a few garbage ones out there, but
right.
Also, we got some birthdays.
Apparently, actually, it's more than just a vampire movie, too, though.
Yeah. I know he plays 2 roles or something. It's like him and his twin brother. So it could be interesting.
Yeah.
there's birthdays today in the news.
You don't
George
say.
Clooney turned 64 years old today.
Georgie, what's up?
And then yesterday was our pal Lance Henriksen's birthday, who turned a young 85.
Hey, still kicking.
So happy birthday, gents. Happy belated, Mr. Henriksen. Salud.
Have a drink on me.
More in the news. So there was apparently a bomb threat at Lady Gaga's concert in Brazil. They found two people.
Yeah.
Thwarted.
There was two people that they had found responsible, and they say there are more. So let's see what happens with that. And then also, Ryan Reynolds reportedly developing a new Deadpool X-Men team-up movie. However, the actor did say Deadpool Wolverine was going to be his last role as Deadpool, but I figured he thinks the part's too fun and the money's too easy. So what are you going to do?
Keep doing it.
True.
Right. Fuck it. Fuck it.
When in doubt,
Fuck
crank them out.
Yeah. The Karate Kid Legends runtime is a whopping 94 minutes, and people are starting controversy saying that they feel that it's too short, and they're afraid that Rob Lieber, the screenwriter, has not given the characters enough background. But I would say people know the background after the, 4 Karate Kid films plus the other shitty ones?
Yeah, plus the series and everything.
Right. So I feel like
Yeah.
the background is
It's
there.
probably it's younger people that have no idea about anything.
Well,
Sounds
there's
about
that.
right.
There's that. And then there's a new movie adaptation of a video game coming out.
I hate to do this, but I'm gonna this.
Okay. I think he's going to dip out and come back.
See, now you understand my frustration. Last week, I was having technical difficulties. I don't know what's up with the internet. You internet fucks out there need to get your shit right, because I'm paying for the motherfucker and the shit ain't working. All right. I'm not touching anything. I'm not touching anything on my laptop or nothing. Whenever this shit happens, boom, camera just drops out or whatever the hell happens. I ain't feeling it.
It's technical difficulties that are not our fault. It's kind of like our Facebook viewers. Sorry that we're not on there at the moment because for some reason Restream is not letting me get access to our Facebook account. Keep saying, go fuck yourself, fat man.
Even in
I'm
the
like,
future,
all right.
nothing works.
Never. But anyway, the A24 movie adaptation of a video game called Elder Ring is in the works, and George R.R. Martin from Game of Thrones will be helping out. So that should be fun, maybe. Hopefully. How you running, Chuck?
Shit.
I was thinking that since you didn't speak right away.
Speak.
All right, well, let's try this and see where we get to tonight, since the internet likes to be fun this evening. Because it's time for the main course, gents. The news is over. There wasn't a whole lot of news. Or at least nothing I felt worthwhile of talking about.
Great.
But, so let's jump in to Whiplash. Film came out on January 16th, 2014 with a runtime of 106 minutes. Was directed by Damien Chazelle, starring Miles Teller, J.R. Simmons, Paul Reiser.
J.K. Simmons.
What did I say?
J.R. Simmons.
It just happens. My cousin's name's J.R., so it's just there.
J.K. Rowling?
Maybe.
No.
The budget of $3.3 million did $50.4 million in the box office. I believe it did 79 worldwide. So it made some money. A lot of music in this film done by, what the hell is this guy's name? Justin Hurwitz? Justin Hurwitz. He wrote a lot of the main stuff that was composed for this film. One won 4 different awards and won the Academy Award for Best Sound Mixing, the BAFTA Award for the Best Editing, the Academy Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and also the Academy Award for Best Editing. It was going to get... This is where I was talking to David about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently it was going to get the best screenplay, but since it was readapted from a short,
Yep.
it got fucked by The Birdman.
Oh, fuck. Michael Keaton.
And some other bullshit movie.
Wait, you're talking about Michael Keaton, right? Not the rapper Birdman.
Yes, Michael Keaton, not the basketball player, not the rapper,
Birdman.
the milkman. No, but this movie was pretty fun, I thought. First time watch, I said for me and Mike, J.K. Simmons, Terrence Fletcher is definitely an asshole.
Yeah.
He's 100% tough love. Like, he don't fuck around. Like, you do shit his way or you get the fuck out.
You're getting I was getting Army vibes.
Yeah. Like Chuck said, this is the Full Metal Jacket of musicals.
Yeah. I can see it.
Like, it's just straight up tough love. Like, he was definitely a drill sergeant, not a fucking music teacher. Like, the first interaction you get in the movie is Miles Andrew Neiman playing drums, and then Fletcher walks in, and then he stops playing, and he's just like, did I tell you to stop playing? So then he starts playing, and then he's like, well, I didn't tell you to start playing either. So then he kind of like, yeah. So then he tells him to do a double time swing, and then while he's doing that, he just disappears. So then when he like stops playing, he looks up, and then he walks back in the room, and he's like, excuse me, forgot my jacket.
Yep.
I was like, what a dickhead.
Yeah. But I mean, that sets the tone for his character going forward.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, because then like the next scene you get is Neiman playing with his band that he's in school for, because they're going to Schaefer Conservatory in New York, music school, jazz music. And he's with his group playing. And then you can see like the one band member notion to the door, and there's a shadow there of a bald man, like a shadow of like a skinny bald guy. So you know it's Fletcher since you just seen him, because they introduced the two main characters right at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of sets up everything. And then so then as they're playing, then like, was it, I think the next day, or it might have been the same day, whenever Fletcher interrupts the class, whenever he comes back, and then Neiman's playing.
I think it was the same day, yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't really say, because I'm not sure how long these classes are they have for their music shit. Because
no, it dips in and out.
Yeah, but it was kind of funny because he just kind of walks in and takes over the class, and then he starts listening to like the reeds and the horns and everybody else, and then he goes to the drummers, and then he listens to the core drummer playing, who is not Neiman. And then he has them switch with the alternate, which is Neiman. And then he plays like 3 beats or whatever and tells him to stop playing. And then they switch up again. And then he's like, all right, the drummer, come with me. And then so the core drummer, Connolly, gets up and he goes over to get ready to leave to walk over towards there. And he's like, no, the alternate. So then he tells him, he's like, look, be in room B16 at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Right. And then like the next scene you see cut, like Neiman wakes up at 6:03, so he's already fucked.
Yeah.
So then he's rushing his ass over to the fucking band practice room. And then you find out once he gets there, nobody's there. So you think he's really fucked. Like, okay, like so fucking Fletcher Dunn stopped in and dipped out already.
Yep.
And Chuck said his computer is loading up, fingers crossed. He says oops. Yes, he did say oops. So now I forget what I was talking about.
Oh, you were thinking that Andrew was fucked, but what he ends up doing, he walks out and sees the schedule and realizes that it doesn't even start till 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So Fletcher's had him come in 3 hours early for nothing, just to
I mean, it worked out in his favor because he was technically probably a half hour late.
Sure. Whether or not Fletcher knew that or not, I don't know. But
No, I mean, I don't know. He might have some fucking recording devices or some kind of video feed. Knowing him, he's a fucking little shiesty bastard.
who knows? But I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, he's testing the kid, you know, right at the gate.
Right.
It's like, oh, be here sharp, 6 a.m. And the kid shows up late, and it's like, okay, regardless, he doesn't know what to expect. So he sees that the class is starting at 9 a.m., but it's not like, oh, I can just leave and come back. He told me to be here at 6, so now I have to sit here for this whole 3 hours, you know, not knowing, you know, if he's going to show up right now or 3 hours from now, you know?
Right.
And like I said, it's just that test, seeing if he has the discipline.
Which then you see, like, for me, because I went back and watched this. I watched this last night for the first time whenever we all were talking in our group. And then I watched it this afternoon when I got up. And then whenever I came back this evening, I put it back on to kind of just get a little refresher.
Sure.
But after watching it technically 3 times, like, the more I watched it, the more I liked it because the more I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because after they do their little practice with Fletcher's group, and then they take that little break, and he's like, well, when we come back, the Squeaker's going to be playing, which is the new guy who is Neiman.
Yeah.
And then you see him outside, like, writing the beat tempos down on his music sheet. And then Fletcher comes walking out, and then they start talking, and he's asking them about, like, some of his background, like what his parents do and this and that. And then was just kind of like trying to just get, like, some kind of background on him to see where he came from. And then he finds out, like, neither one of his parents were musicians. Like, his dad's a fucking literature teacher at some school, and then his mom ran out on him when they were kids. And then they start talking about some of the jazz players, like we got here, Buddy Rich and Joe Jones, and then Charlie Bird Parker. And then they start telling a story about whenever Charlie was playing with Joe Jones, that Joe threw a cymbal at him.
Yeah.
Because he kept missing tempo. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, no. And then, or he's like, yeah, he's like, I understand what you're talking about. But technically, you know, he doesn't, because at like going back and rewatching it, like, that's the point where he's like, I'm going to push you to your absolute fucking limit until I throw a cymbal at your head and you just come back and play 10 times harder and be the greatest drummer of all time.
Yeah.
So
you could tell Fletcher is kind of playing chess with not only Andrew, but everybody that's in his class. You know what I mean? You know, whenever he's talking, you know, the one kid he keeps giving shit to, because he was saying that somebody's out of tune, and everybody's just afraid. Like, everybody's petrified of this guy. They're afraid to speak up at all. And he's like, all right, you done fucked up. I gave you a chance or whatever. And he gets in on that one kid, and he's like, do you think you're out of tune? And he's like, yeah. And
he's like, tell me it's not you, Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, he's not out of tune. It was just, he was so scared that he didn't know, he was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so he fucked up, and he was out, but it was really the other guy who was out of tune. Like I said, Fletcher is just constantly testing people. And you were just talking about that scene where, Andrew goes out and they're talking to each other. So far in the film, we've seen Fletcher be this hard ass. And then whenever he comes out and starts talking to him, it's like, oh, this guy is a little bit more chill, because he's like, oh, asking about his parents and this and that. And he seems kind of friendly here. And, he's like, hey, you're here for a reason, have fun, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, okay, maybe this guy ain't so bad. But turns out he's getting that information about, like, his mom leaving him, what his dad does, because later on he's going to use it against him as abuse. Yeah. Yeah. So it's fucked up, because Fletcher's playing like chess with these kids and their mindset.
Right.
Yeah. The whole thing with the symbol, where he's talking about, like, how old dude threw the symbol at him. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, you understand what I'm saying, right? And am I lagging, or can you hear me okay?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
All good.
And he's like, you understand what I'm saying, right? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, no, I don't think you are. He's telling you he's getting ready to put you through the fucking ringer, dude. Yeah.
Right.
No, I didn't get to say it. I didn't get to say it earlier real quick. I absolutely love this movie. For anyone who is a drummer, this is a movie that if you haven't seen, you have to see it. Like, it's just so good. But yeah, There's this after rewatching it again for like the fourth or fifth time. That's how many times I've watched it or whatever. But after rewatching it again, after not watching it for a little while, you pick up on little things. You know what I mean? He says, yeah.
Like it's just fucking nuts because like especially after rewatching it, because like I said, I watched it like 3 times just about. I kind of skimmed through it the last time, but yeah, it was just like because you think he knows what he's about to get into, but basically that whole story that he just told him was symbolism.
Oh, hey.
Because he was just straight up fucking like, look, like I'm about to put you through the ringer, kid. Like, hopefully you got the balls to stick it out and fucking be the next fucking Charlie Parker.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm gonna fucking feed you to the fishes.
Yeah. Which did you all mention the girlfriend thing?
Not yet.
Because it's coming up, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
because well, before all this, he meets the girl, asks her out, and then he like, gets.
Well, he doesn't ask her out until after he gets put on with his squad. Because I guess his balls got a little bigger since he was like
after.
Yeah, so like right after that scene is whenever he ends up going back to the movie theater because earlier you see him go to the movies with his dad, which is funny too because he fucking dumps this box of Raisinets in there.
Yeah.
And his popcorn bucket. And he's just like, his dad's like, here. He's like, no, I don't like the Raisinets. I just eat around them. And he's like, never understand you.
Well, but that also just shows how much he doesn't know his kid.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, the thing I took away from that was, he knows his dad likes the Raisinets, so he just dumps them in there for his dad. So it's like, you look at the relationship between Andrew and anybody, like any authoritative figure in his life, and he's always trying to appease that person. And from start to finish in this film, it's all about Andrew trying to appease and get the validation from Fletcher. But you see these little things, even between him and his dad, where it's like, okay, I'm just going to dump the Raisinets in there because I know that's what you want, and I'll just eat around them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's fucking, it's real finicky, like, and knows where it wants to go or whatever. Like, I know we had talked in our group chat about it being a Blumhouse name in the beginning of this film.
Dare we
I would honestly,
it's got Blum. It's not Blum.
No. But they were one of 3 production companies to work on this film. But
it wasn't a horror movie. So
this is true. But I will have to say, even out of all the movies I've seen through Blumhouse, this is probably the best movie I've seen that had anything to do with their name on it.
So Chuck, you're going on record saying that Blumhouse did a good job with this film.
No, Blumhouse does horror movies. Jason Blum was a part of this,
but
so therefore it's not Blumhouse.
Hey, I saw the logo right there, the BH right at the beginning of the film. That's Blumhouse.
Well, but I get that, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't give a fuck. Horror movies, they suck at it. Like
most of them are remakes.
I know what you're trying to do.
Most of them are remakes, destroying franchises we grew up with.
We
exactly like
we are unbiased reporting news, movie, TV, podcast, and we have to be unbiased and straightforward. And if fucking Blumhouse does a good job, we got to give them the credit, man. No matter how painful it
the best movie that ever had their name in it.
This movie it's because like it's not because again it's not a horror movie, it's not an action movie, it's a drama, and there's some humor, but it's mainly a drama. And it's a really well done drama, but it also has those moments where you're like, like you would feel like in a chase scene in a movie. We're like, come on. Same kind of feeling when he's trying to make it to the to these different places when he goes through this, that, and the other. I mean, we'll get to all that. Obviously, we're getting there, but there's not a boring moment in this movie. Like you're kind of invested from the beginning. And when it's over, like honestly, like I kind of wish there was a little bit more, but we'll get to all that too.
Yeah, but going back to him playing for Fletcher, whenever he first gets thrown on the drum set, like he's like, all right, half tempo, blah blah blah, and they start playing the song or whatever, and he's doing all right, you know what I mean? And fucking Fletcher's still kind of like buttering him up. He's like, all right, throw some fills in there, and he's like, oh, good, we got a new Buddy Rich on our hands here, blah blah blah. And then he starts telling them to play like what was it, like a double time swing type shit, and then he fucks it all up. Or no, he gets the tempo wrong. He's like, all right, he's like, you kind of fucked up there or whatever. He's like,
he's nice about it first.
Tempo. He's like, it's okay. Just he's like, it's okay. Like, take your time or whatever. He's like, you'll get it. And then he keeps fucking up. So then he's like, he goes back to almost like the kid that didn't know his sax or his trumpet was out of tune. So it goes back to that. And he's like, so you're telling me you don't fucking read music? Like, you don't know tempo? And then he starts just like grilling him, like getting in his fucking face and shit. And he has like a little tear. And then he starts really fucking grilling into him. He's like, oh, look, are you a single tear guy? Like, did you see a double fucking rainbow? Like, he's like, is this like a beautiful scene? Yada, yada, yada. He's like, do you care? And he's like, yeah. He's like, tell me he's like, are you upset? Are you sad? Are you upset? Yeah. He's like, are you sad? Are you upset? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, fucking tell everybody. And he starts like making him say it louder and louder. And then he ends up pulling him off the kit.
That Full Metal Jacket.
It's very off-putting, especially to a 19-year-old kid who's just getting thrown into this type of situation where it's like this guy is like in your face, hardcore, and you obviously the reputation this guy has, and he's like the head of the musical department for the best jazz school in the country. So it's like, okay, I don't want to disappoint this guy, but he's in my face, and it's like obviously he's upset. But he's like, are you upset? And he's like, no, because he's like, at first he's like, no, because he doesn't want, he feels like being upset is like a weakness or something like that. Right. So he doesn't want to come across weak to Fletcher. But Fletcher knows better, and he's like, I know you're fucking upset. Just fucking admit it. And it's like he's just constantly putting this pressure on him, and you can just see the kid kind of fall apart, and he does that with everyone. So it's an interesting dynamic.
Well, then it's just funny because then like he actually kind of picks up the pace a little bit because he's saying the tempo's off because he'll start playing too fast and he's like, you're rushing. Then he starts playing a little too slow and he's trying to find that middle ground. And then he starts walking away just kind of like, all right. The next thing you know, a fucking chair comes flying out of nowhere. And he's like, fuck you. He's like, do you know why I just flung a fucking chair at you? He's like, the tempo? And he's like, yeah. He's like, were you fast or were you slow or behind or whatever?
You lagging.
Lagging. And he's like,
lagging,
I don't know. And then he's like, all right. So he's like, tells him to do a count, like for a 4 count. And then between every 4 count, he's smacking him in the face. And he's like, now, was I rushing or was I lagging?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, apparently, like, Simmons was really smacking Teller in the face.
Well, at first they said he was just kind of mimicking the slaps, and then toward the takes they ended up using, they were like just laid in, and he did him slapping for real.
Yeah, like I was reading because this was, like I said, we said this was a short to start out with. So like, and then he says the line like, "I'm gonna fuck you like a pig if you don't get this right." Yeah. But like the line in the movie was actually supposed to be "gut you like a pig," but in the short it was "fuck you like a pig," and he ended up saying the line from the short, and they just left it in there like, "Yeah, fuck it."
Yeah.
And like, we like that shit.
There's some pretty gnarly insults that he.
Oh man, you can't say half these things on the air.
No, not at all. Like he that's what I'm saying. Like the whole Full Metal Jacket thing, the Arlie Ermy thing. Like it's just he digs in. The thing about being a drummer in a band is, and being a drummer in a band, and the part that kind of sucks is everything's kind of on you,
right?
Because you're the one that everybody's following on you. You're the one that holds it, and like I don't get chairs thrown at me and insults hurled at me or anything, but no, I don't. I've been there.
I'll be down.
No. Because like in the kind of music that we play in Bastard Sons and stuff, like, is totally different, and we're disciplined enough to where we can do this, but like when it comes to recording, we've had recordings that are slower than they should be, and we have one song that when we play it live, it's 10 times faster than it is. Like it goes from being a really sludgy, slow, and to a real fast one live because of the adrenaline. Guys like this that play this kind of music, like you had to sound like you were on the record. You had to sound like you did in practice. That, you know, everything like that. I couldn't imagine. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, I couldn't do that at all. I would fucking fold. I'd probably get an assault charge on me. And that would be after like I'm crying in the corner.
And I know nothing about music. You know, I can't read music or anything like that. So it's like whenever he's doing that scene, you know, where the rushing and lagging and the tempos and all that, I have no clue whether or not Andrew's doing good or not. You know, I just go based off of what Fletcher's saying, and it's like, okay, like.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the first thing about reading drummer music. Like, I just listened to it whenever I used to play drums, and then just, I mean, I'm sure like half the songs we played that I played drums to, like, I'm sure I fucked most of them up, but I mean, I could fake it pretty well.
Yeah, like, well, that's the weird thing. Like, I can't read music at all. Like,
I can for guitar, but everything else, no idea.
Nah, same with that. It's always just been by ear. But shit. But no, it's funny because when I first watched this movie, my guitar player actually was what told me I should watch it. This was years ago. And that was when I was like just now trying to like, I was kind of feeling like more of a drummer. Instead of just a vocalist who happened to play drums because he had to. And when I watched this, then I didn't notice then, but as I've watched it many times since then, especially watching it last night again, I really can tell that like when he's playing the double times, when they're sloppy sounding or not. Because I was kind of feeling the same way, and like it's really weird. I don't know, because you get an ear for it after a while. Because like at one time, like it'd be like, that sounds fine to me, but like there are moments where you're like, wow, fucking Connolly fucking sounds like ass, and even though he's just playing for that few seconds,
right?
Which it comes about to where I think we're getting ready to with the all night drum off, trying to pick people at some point.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
Sure. Chuck Nasty, our resident drummer. You know, Chad Mang is a musician as well. Chuck, did you know this?
No.
Yeah, he doesn't talk about it enough, but I know that you play.
He's well versed in the skin flute.
I think I've read things, reviews in bathrooms usually.
me and Dave have a really good band. You heard of the White Stripes? We're the White Stains.
Oh,
oh boy, canceled.
Clean up on aisle 2.
Their side project.
We'll be playing live down at the Glory Hole this weekend.
It's a two-piece. Our hit track is called Tummy Sticks.
Wait till you get to the climax of the show.
We're canceled. That's us for the week. Thank you guys for being fans. We're out. No, but
oh Lord.
But
then I think they get done playing at the one point, and then the other, like the core drummer Tanner, is like, "Here, hold this book or whatever," while we take our little break, and then they come back out, and he's at the Pepsi machine, and he's just like listening to the other guys talk. And then Tanner comes back and he's like, "Where's the book?" He's like,
"Well, that's at the competition, right?"
Yeah.
So now we get forward. They're at the competition, and this is interesting. I was curious to see what you guys think. So he just sits that down to get a soda real quick. He glances around the corner, and then Kid comes up, and it's gone. Where do you think it went?
Oh, Fletcher.
That's what I thought.
I don't think it alludes to it that much, but like that is the automatic, the immediate thought I had every time I watch this movie is like he grabs it. There's some reason that he knows he did it on purpose.
I feel like he knows that Neiman has way more drive than Tanner. Like he knows he wants this, and then he proves it whenever fucking Tanner has no idea how to play the song without his music, and then fucking Neiman's like, "Well, I've been practicing. I know it all by heart." And he's like, "You fucking know Whiplash by heart." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, all right." He's like, "You're up." And then he takes over. He takes over as the core spot, and then fucking Tanner's the alternate.
Because they never actually confirm it. But I always, watching it for the first time, I was like, Fletcher definitely did it because right before all that, there's the scene, which is kind of a little bit of foreshadowing, where Fletcher is bitching about somebody like sitting their book down. He's like, if I see another one of these fucking things, I'm gonna lose my shit or whatever he says.
Yeah.
And the one kid comes walking up and he's like, no. He's like, I don't want to see you. Get out of my line of sight or whatever. But that's what made me think. Okay, Fletcher's the one who took it, but he had to be fucking stealthy to fucking just snatch it up real quick and not be seen, because that was just like literally, I'm getting a soda. I look around the corner, boom, gone.
See, I was
like, Fletcher's nowhere to be seen. He's like ninja style.
He could have sent somebody. My thing is he could have been like, hey, you see that book over there? Go grab it.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many ideas.
Whoever,
like, a sinister bastard like
whoever actually took it. I think, like I said, I think it's Fletcher, but they had to be fucking ninja stealthy.
I was talking to Dave about that because he was like, who took it? And I was like, Fletcher did. And he's like, how? And I was like, well, he was Commissioner Gordon. Maybe he called the Batman and he's up there hiding in the fucking drop ceiling with the fucking little fishing pole tool. Like, firm, and just fucking catches the book and brings it up.
Yeah.
He was Commissioner Gordon.
And the Justice League and all that shit. The Zack Snyder shit.
Dude, Simmons has been in a ton of stuff. He's been in over like 200 some odd films, man.
He has. He did a lot of voice acting too.
Mm-hmm.
Shitload of voice acting.
Yeah. This is probably one of my favorite roles from him, though.
Do you ever watch?
I agree.
Do you ever watch Oz?
Oh,
yeah, he was the skinhead. Yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, like I mean, mainly whenever I see him, I think of Commissioner Gordon and then Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which is always a funny scene. I think that was one of our clips of the week one night.
Great actor, though, man. They said he won like 47 awards for this role as Fletcher.
10 too many.
But no, man, he kills it, man. Yeah. Fucking J.K. Simmons.
He's a bad.
No, but so after the they play the concert or whatever, and then Neiman kills it. You cut, and they're having dinner at his dad Jim's house, Paul Reiser, and it is one of the most awkward fucking dinners ever.
I want to say real quick, I've been in the middle of this dinner before, and I've been Andrew.
I mean, I kind of have too, before. But it's still a very awkward dinner because they're trying to like show interest in him somewhat, but then they kind of just keep taking jabs at him. Like, the fuck are you gonna do being a drummer? What kind of shit are you gonna do with this? Blah blah blah. And then they're fucking. I guess the other couple's son walks in, and he plays football for the one college, and they're like, it's Tom Brady or whatever. Like, yeah, he threw a 93-yard touchdown pass the other day, blah, 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 blah. And then he's just kind of like bragging on himself. And then they just kind of skip over and they're like, everybody's doing good. Like, he's a fucking all-star football player. Like, Jim just won the Teacher of the Year award. He's like, oh, and Andrew, you're doing good drumming, so that's nice. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then I like how the guy's like,
he gets them pretty good though.
Because he's sitting there talking shit about playing football, and he's like, it's Division III. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. That was me. I've had this conversation mainly with my dad and my stepmom and her family. I've been that kid at that table, being told that my passions were bullshit and that I would never amount to anything. Why everybody was like had a smile on their face and said it, and then they wonder why I don't come around them. But yeah, no, this scene meant a lot.
Like,
to
it
me.
was just funny because then like he's like, well, why don't you come play with us? And he's like, those are 4 words you'll never hear from any NFL team. But then his dad, being the asshole, is like, we neither will the Lincoln Center, because he's trying to get the spot at the Lincoln Center at the Jazz Club.
Right.
So his dad's kind of fucking taking stupid jabs at him too, and I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. But then
I think his dad was trying because so those guys are being assholes to Andrew at the table, and now Andrew's kind of trying to stand up for himself, but he's turning into an asshole at the same time by taking these low blow shots. So his dad's kind of trying to put him in his place, like, hey, look, you're better than that.
But it was definitely an awkward ass dinner.
For me, this scene. I think it's very important because throughout the whole film, we're gorged in the whole drumming and music, like in the different areas or whatever. But you're so focused on the music and everything like that. This kind of takes you out of it for a minute, and it gives you that kind of mainstream view of people, like where, if you're sitting at a dinner table, most people are like, oh, this guy plays football in the NFL, and all these, the mainstream people, whatever society, whatever, look at it as like, oh, football is more important because it might actually lead to something, as opposed to, oh, you're just doing jazz band. How far are you going to get as a jazz band guy? So, it's I feel like they put that in there to kind of illustrate how people viewed, that kind of culture community. Right.
Well, because they mentioned even the fact that the guy was talking about, I don't know if it was dad or was the uncle who makes the comments about like, yeah, why would you want to be, most of these guys that you look up to are, overdose on heroin and die or something along those lines. And he makes the comment of like, well, I would rather die that way and be remembered than whatever the fuck, what I'm talking
about. He's like, I'd rather die at the age of 34
and be remembered for what I love or whatever.
Everybody talking shit about me basically like at dinner instead of being a 90-year-old successful, accomplished guy living by himself or whatever.
Yeah. Like I have said very similar many times. Like I don't know, like because it does take you out of the music for a second and make you realize, okay, this movie is not just about the music. It's about the passion. It's about the fact of like what this kid is feeling. Like, it's the major word for this movie is passion. And
that's kind of like, whenever they're like, do you have any friends? And he's like, no, I never really seem to have the need for any of them. Like he's like, I kind of do my own thing. Yeah. So like that shit was pretty dope. Like whenever he asks old girl out too, like it's kind of fucked up because he walks up and he's like, hey, I wonder if you want to go out with me at all or sometime or whatever. And she's just like, you need to leave now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, my
he's
bad.
Like, oh, fuck.
JK.
But then like, and then they actually go on their date, I believe, right after the concert. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting at the pizza place or whatever. She's like, yeah, I get off at 7 on Mondays. And then they go to the pizza place and he's like, I come here for the music. And then he starts fucking like talking about this fucking song that's on. And she's just like, what?
Yeah, he's nerding out over the music.
Like, but they have good pizza too.
Yeah. I've also this scene is also relatable.
It's just funny because he's like, what are your goals? And she's like, I don't really have any. Like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just basically taking general courses. Yada yada yada.
And her and her big ass chin.
Right. She's like, my mom said I'd never get any guys because I have a big Jay Leno chin. She's like, my dad cursed me with it.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I kind of like, I don't know, because of what does happen.
Oh, that's what cracks me the fuck up.
It's a turn off when the chick has
a big chin.
Like, no. They're like, when there's no, when they're like, oh, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, blah, blah. It's okay at a certain age. Like, I think he's kind of young.
I mean, they're like 19 probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she's still trying to discover herself and all that shit. So, like, he gets, again, we'll get to that whole scene in a little bit. But, like, I don't know. It's a very awkward date.
It is.
It's like
that whole relationship is awkward.
Yeah, nothing to talk about.
They obviously have nothing in common.
Which will
I feel like the whole relationship with this chick, because I mean, it's only this date, and then it isn't the next thing them breaking up.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute, you're breaking up? Are you even together? Like, didn't you just have one date? Did I miss something here or whatever?
Yeah, like,
I think it zoomed a couple of days.
Well, yeah, because they end up having the competition, then they go out, I think, that night or whatever. And then like the next day is the awkward dinner. And then the following day is whenever he goes back to band practice and he finds out that Fletcher recruits Connolly from his old band group. So they have 3 drummers, like 1 core and 2 alternates. And then the scene after that is the breakup. But the scene whenever they find Connolly, that shit's funny because they go in there and they start playing their fucking swing. And then that's whenever Fletcher gets he gets a phone call and just kind of wanders off or whatever after he gives Connolly the part. And then Andrew busts in there and he's like, what the fuck? Like, I can do this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's not the time. Get the fuck out. And then he just pretty much storms off. And then, like, the next scene is whenever they're at this diner and he's talking to her and he's like, you know, I don't think this is going to work out. Like, I think they only have the one date. He's like, at some point, you're going to resent me for not spending enough time with you because I have bigger plans and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, so we're going to break up because I don't know what I want to do with my life. And you have important plans and goals. So you don't want me to slow you down. And he's like, yes. And I was like, whoa.
Big time.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like, if you've got somebody who already knows what they want, they've been on this fucking path, and the other person is like, well, I'm just still trying to figure it out. And it's like, okay, well, that's just not going to work because this person's already like way the fuck up ahead when it comes.
No, I love that.
So it's not
going
to be
that whole
level.
scene because I'm like, yo, like that's what's up because this is true shit. Like he's definitely speaking some truth because that's exactly what would happen. They would end up resenting each other because she would be pissed that he's concentrated on drumming, so she would resent him for that. Then he'll resent her for not giving him the support for trying to go after his dream. So, like, he's 100% dead on with what the fuck the end of that relationship would be like.
But hey, what?
And he wouldn't get as far being a drummer by the end of this film if he would have just stayed with her.
Well, hey, I'm going to stick up for the chick here because why the fuck did he ask her out in the first place then? All right. If you got big plans, I feel like this is Fletcher's negativity kind of rubbing off on Andrew because he's starting to turn into a little bit of an asshole here. And it's
but I mean, at the same time, though, like, he didn't have the stones to ask her before he got this spot.
Right. So it's like
he got a little I was say he got a little cocky and was like, all right, I'm gonna ask this girl out. He asked her out, whatever, they go out, all that stuff. Then he goes through Fletcher's fucking abuse to a next level. And he is now thinking, I'm not good enough. I've got to be good enough. I've got to donate all of my time that I can on my craft. I can't have anybody slowing me down. Like I have to, I'm doing this. And if I know what exactly is going to happen, and the thing is, I respect it. Cause like I'm 41 years old and that's where my mind's at now. It's like, you either got to be on the fucking speed of like, hey, I've got things I'm doing, goals and shit, or it just ain't going to work. Cause you're not going to be happy within like probably about a week. You know what I mean? So, like I see. I also feel bad for her a little bit, but I mean, it's a beginning of a relationship. Obviously, they liked each other to a certain extent, and he was just going, "Look, it's the beginning of it. Let's just go ahead and call it good because I know how this is going to go." And I think a lot of people don't do that anymore, and that's why there's a lot of like, I have so many musician friends who have wives and girlfriends who, in the first few weeks of them dating, loved the fact they played music. After that, there wasn't much music being played anymore. You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, he just comes across. I don't have a problem with him being like shutting it down, being like, "Look, this is what I got to focus on, babe." But just the way he does it, babe. The way he does it is very arrogant. You know what I mean? And it's like it
is, but I think that's why I love it.
Same,
because you can get that vibe even from the pizza date where he's just kind of like, oh, this is what I'm doing and you're not doing anything. So she kind of gets that rub right there where it's like, okay, you think you're better than me because you know what you're doing. And now he confirms it in the most like asshole-ish kind of way. It's like, yeah, I'm doing something and your fucking life sucks. So get the fuck out of my face, more or less, So it's kind of shitty, but it had to happen.
I mean, it's honesty. And people can't always handle it.
There's a nicer way.
Like,
you could have let her down easy, Chuck. You could have let her down easy.
I don't think that honestly would have worked with her.
Bitch, be gone.
Like, I don't think she would have got the message. Like, she was trying to be nice.
Who's the master?
Try to be like, okay, let me support him then, or whatever. But then, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm a dickhead. I can't help it.
It takes a lot for somebody to be with somebody who's hardcore creative, no matter if it's music or writing or art in some way. A lot of people say like, "Oh, I'll be here right one step of the way with you," blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, that disappears after a while. It's a little bit more resentment on the fact that you are exploring your craft more and you're getting better at your craft and you're doing more with your craft, and now you have less time for that person. People.
Sometimes it's nice to have a muse, though. All right, you know, if she would have been like, you know, watching him and seeing how good he was at his craft, and then been like, look, okay, I ain't doing shit, but I know you're great, and I believe in you, and I want to fucking support you all the way. So it's like, okay,
there are some situations. I get that, and there are some situations where that does happen. It's a rare one, but it does happen. There are people out there that go, "Hey, I'm here to support you every step of the way," and they actually mean it. Unfortunately, more times than not, you get a lot of like, "Hey, it's hard for somebody to be amused."
And I feel like if she was 100% ready to like just push him and like drive him to do what he wants to do, like I feel like she would have reached out after that conversation.
True. But he was but also at the same point, he was also very straight.
Like I said, there was no depth to this relationship, and it's kind of weird because it's like date, breakup, fuck off type thing. I feel like they only use this as kind of a bridge later on to after he loses everything, he starts, he picks up his phone and looks at her number or whatever on the phone. So I've always felt like later on they only used the relationship to make it feel like it was a regret to him at some point for making that decision to kind of step away from everything. But we'll get to that.
But that's a little farther down the road, which I feel like that's the only reason why he did regret it at the time. But we'll get there. Yeah, so like you have the breakup, and then after that they go back into practice with the one core, him being the core, and then the two alternates. But then I think Connolly got the core job, so he's up first, and then he don't get the tempo right. And then he throws fucking Neiman on. Then he don't get the tempo right. Then he throws Tanner on. He don't get the tempo right. So he switches. He goes through this for about fucking like maybe 4 rounds of each of them. So like 12 times. And then he's like, "All right, band." He's like, "I'm excusing me. Like, I'm sorry for the musicians, but go take a shit. Go get some coffee. Take a 20. Take a fucking hour. I don't give a fuck. We're gonna be here all night. However long this shit takes."
Yeah.
And then you just hear like. See them going back and forth, and then you go back to like the band, and they were just kind of like hanging out in the break room, just listening to drumming and screaming.
Yeah,
and then,
but you see how long they've been doing.
He said to come back at 9 p.m.
Like,
and by the time he's fucking cussing and bitching at him the whole time, and then you see Neiman finally picking it up and actually getting down the 400 count and just fucking going off. And then by this time, he calls the band back in. It's 2 a.m. So 5 hours of fucking drum practice before they actually even start the fucking band practice. And his fucking hands are bleeding because by the end, fucking Fletcher's like, "The alternates, get this fucking blood off my drum set."
Yeah.
Which was actually fucking Miles Teller's blood from his hand. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Always reminds me of Caddyshack when he's like, "Hey, pick up that blood."
Yeah, because he's actually a drummer. He started playing drums, I think, when he was like 12 or 15 or
15.
Yeah. Miles Teller, that is such a drummer name, too, though. It sounds like a jazz drummer's name. Miles Teller.
Miles
Davis.
You
know what I mean? Right. It just has, a ring to it.
Like he's fucking a dope-ass drummer, too, like, because he definitely played all his shit himself. Like, I don't think they ever had a stand-in, and I didn't see any information about a stand-in.
I think there was a little bit.
There was a little bit of
like maybe towards the end there, whenever they're just kind of like focused on his body, but not the actual drum movements or whatever, and then they focus on just the drums. Maybe they swapped it out.
When we get to the big scene, I do have something. I have a few things to say about that, but yeah.
No, but then so they have this other fucking, like, after they get done that long ass practice, he's like, "All right, we're playing here at 5 p.m. Don't fucking be late. If you live in the city, leave 2 hours early and shit." So he's on this fucking bus and shit, just listening to drums, and then the fucking bus breaks down, and it's it's like 4:30 or whatever, 4 o'clock.
I know how that goes.
You sure do, Buster. Fucking. But anyway, so then he fucking runs away and gets a rental car. Fucking hauls ass over to the concert center, and then realizes, like, whenever he runs in, he's like, "Okay, I'm here," and he's like, "Fuck, I left my fucking sticks at the rent-a-car place." He's like, "I'll be right back." So then he fucking runs back, picks up his sticks. Then he's driving and he's on the phone. He's like, hey, Connolly's warming up. He's like, tell that cocksucker this is my fucking part, blah, blah, blah. And then you see the fucking big ass red front end come from his driver's side window and just fucking T-bones the shit out of him. And fucking flips him over. He's fucking bleeding all over the place.
Now we left out one thing earlier. When Fletcher got the phone call was to tell him about somebody who passed away. That person that passed away was a student of his,
trumpet player.
Yes. Who Fletcher?
Yeah, like he tells that heartfelt story.
CD,
he lies.
The whole heartfelt thing, and says that he died in a car accident. And I thought it was interesting because I didn't pick up on that for some reason, but I picked up this. I was like, that's kind of interesting. He mentions this guy dies in a car accident, but he really didn't die in a car accident. Get to that. And then this happens with him. That's kind of weird.
And then so he rushes ass back. Like he gets out of the car. The truck driver's like, hey man, like, are you okay? Like hang out. And he's like, fuck man, I need my sticks. And he just fucking grabs his sticks and like runs to the fucking concert hall, covered in fucking blood. His hands all fucking smashed up. His fucking face is just dripping blood. And then he goes and starts to try to play this concert. And then he can't fucking keep his hands on the sticks. And he just keeps dropping them. So then Fletcher's like, all right, you're fucking done, kid. And that's whenever the turning point is where he just fucking has enough. And he like kicks over the drum set and just runs and dive tackles Fletcher and gives him like some kind of fucking spear. And then spear. And then they just fucking flip out on each other. And then apparently, like, whenever he did that, he actually broke 2 of J.K. Simmons' ribs.
I do remember hearing about that.
I was like, now that's what I'm talking about. Well, that whole fucking scene was nuts.
You know, he Goldberged his ass, and I guess he got the same results, actually hurting the other person. Look at that. Fuck you, Goldberg.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then that kind of leads into, like, the next scene. Like, he's talking to a lawyer and his dad. And they're like, look, like, this guy gave you some kind of trauma. Like, we got to stop this. Like, this has happened before. Because there's, like, an old former student of his, Sean Casey, was pushed to the point to where he hung himself last week or whatever. And then that's whenever you find out the real story. It wasn't a car accident. He actually killed himself, which I also believe that guy, like before the very first concert, fucking Andrew sees Fletcher talking to a guy and his daughter out in the hallway. And I'm starting to believe that's Sean Casey.
I was wondering that too, actually.
And me and Dave was even talking about that.
It could have just been a coincidence, showing like the lighter side of him or some shit, but it also
you could tell he really had feelings for this guy because he said how much of a beautiful trumpet player he was.
Yeah. So I think it probably was. I would like to believe that
it only makes sense.
It does make sense.
But so then he does that. He tackles him. He gets kicked out of school. And then he's talking to the lawyers or whatever. And then that's whenever they kind of like tell him, like, yeah, file this lawsuit. He'll get kicked out of Schaefer. And then he'll never teach or abuse anybody again. And then just from there, you kind of just see Andrew kind of falling apart. Like, that's when he's just kind of like working some like regular schmo job, like fucking walking around the city eating pizza. He's
unhooks
like,
his drums.
Yeah, like he gets rid of his drum set. He looks at Nicole's phone number, who was actually Melina Benoist. She's Supergirl in the C-Dub series.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we looked it up.
Even Melissa?
Wikipedia. Yeah, what did I say, Melinda?
You said Melina.
Well, whatever.
You're all over the place.
Some damn name.
It stinks. Anyway.
But anyway. So then, like, he gets fired after the lawsuit and everything. And then you see Andrew walking around one night by this jazz club. And he's eating a slice of pizza. And he sees, like, the jazz band on there. And it says, featuring Terrence Fletcher. So then he kind of just walks in and Terrence is playing the piano and shit. And then he tries to sneak out and then Fletcher sees him and he's like, Andrew, like, let's come talk or whatever. And then he starts talking to him about the fucking Joe Jones Parker situation again. And then saying like how he's doing a concert for the JVC Jazz Festival. That was coming up.
Well, before that though, I mean, like he's talking to him and he's like, kind of you're kind of seeing that he's like, look, I do this for a reason. Like it isn't just to like do this.
Yeah, he kind of breaks it down for him.
Really push, you know. And then Andrew kind of like starts feeling kind of like shit, You can see it in his face. He feels like an asshole about that whole fucking situation. But he also was like, well, everything's good, I guess, because he's doing this whole thing, blah blah blah. And then as he's leaving is when he mentions it to him.
So I mean, that was kind of cool though, that he actually offered him the part. You're like, all right, cool, like they're actually going to get along now or whatever. And then like concert day comes, and then fucking Andrew sits down, and fucking Fletcher walks up to him, and he's like, "You think I'm fucking stupid? Like I know it was you."
Stupid.
So like, and then like the whole fucking expression on Andrew's face changes because he's kind of like happy, like, hey, he's bringing me along for the ride. He's gonna fucking hook me up. But then like, he's like, all right, we're playing this new fucking number, and he realizes he has no sheet music for the drums. So he's like, all right, so this guy just fucking drowned me, like
fucking buried him at Carnegie, man. He's like,
well, he makes it
even beforehand. He reiterates to everybody. He's like, hey, these people don't forget.
Right.
And that's part of his plan. He's like, I'm going to get this fucking kid.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to bury this fucking cacarocha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he gets up there and he tells him, he goes, we're doing this new upbeat like song, Upswinging. Dude starts fucking like trying his best to figure out what's going on. And he just
doing random
blank. Shit. And dude, like the thing is, that is a horrible
I like the bass player. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like I got no
like,
fucking music.
Damn. And that bass guy needs to be on your side. Like in order for things to kind of smooth out.
That shit was fucking hilarious.
But, you know,
because you're like, oh shit, like he's really putting the fucking screws to this cat. So
hilarious.
So he just embarrasses the fuck out of him. But see, this is what I said. I like the movie, and like that conversation with him and Fletcher kind of clicks. And it makes sense then because he starts to walk off like, all right, fuck this. His dad gives him a hug and he's like, you know what? Fuck this. Like he just told me at the bar that he did this shit for a reason. Like this is technically him throwing the cymbal at me to make me a better drummer. So then he just goes back out and he's like, all right, I'm ready to fucking do this. And he just picks up his sticks and starts fucking drumming. And then, like the fucking doing? Fletcher's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm going to gouge your fucking eyes out. And then he just keeps fucking playing. And then he tells the bass, he was like, I'm going to cue you in. We're going to play, what the fuck was the car wash or what the fuck was it?
No. Caravan.
Caravan, whatever.
Car wash. But, before we move any forward, whenever he walks off and goes over his dad and the dad kind of consoles him or whatever, he has that moment. And you go back to at the bar with Fletcher where Fletcher is talking about, hey, the two worst words you could say to somebody is good job. And you could kind of see the gears in Andrew's head where it's like his dad's like, okay, he doesn't say it, but he's basically saying, it's okay. It's, you did a good job or whatever. And he's like, no. Yeah. And he realizes he's like, no. I'm going back out there, and he takes control of the situation. Right. So far, Fletcher's been the one that's just been, completely in control and driving everything. And he's like, "Look, you trying to fuck me? All right, I'll show you. I'm going to show everybody because if this is my last stand, I'm going out on my fucking drum set." And he's just all right,
he went out swinging, literally swinging sticks.
It's just like he talks to him. I think it's at the bar. I think it's at the bar where he's talking about like having that one new person that's why we're never going to have that next
Charlie Parker,
Buddy Rich, Charlie Parker,
not Charlie Rich,
whatever, that big giant drum solo.
Did you light his Charlie Rich tape on fire?
It's Country Music Award. Buddy Rich. But yeah, you can see that clicking like that. Like I said, like that beginning conversation they had with just them two in the hallway, it makes sense because like that's whenever he says, "Do you understand?" and he's like, "Yeah," he didn't understand like at all. But then like at the end, like you said, whenever he gets that a boy fucking good job, like you did your best from his dad, he's like, okay, this motherfucker's trying to bury me, so I got to go out here and prove that I'm as good as I say I am or think I am. And then he just goes over, takes over the show. He doesn't do the count. He doesn't let him introduce the next song or nothing. He just fucking starts playing it.
Because it's like, okay, he set him up.
I'm the drummer and the conductor. Fuck it.
He sets him up in that right before that where it's like, okay, I have no clue what I'm doing because this guy's fucking me. He's like, you know what? I'm going to do the fucking. I'm taking over and we're going to do what I know and what's going to showcase my talent.
And like I said, I watch this numerous times, and the more and more I watch it, when it gets to this scene, like it gives me goosebumps. I feel like the fucking Rock.
Dude. Yeah, yeah, dude. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite endings of a film. It's like that. It's that redemption. That redemption.
He's like, you're gonna,
you know, he gets up there,
suck the belly's beast.
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
calm down there, killer. But yeah, like he goes into it and he's playing the song good and all that stuff, and he's nonstop. And the moment, like he goes into the whole solo thing, which, by the way, for this amazing solo, I watched a YouTube video. I can't remember who the guy does it, but if you look it up, you can find it. He gets dressed up in the same outfit that dude's wearing in the movie and everything, and he does that solo just from watching the movie, because there's no transcription of that at all. It's pretty fucking crazy.
He listens to it once and then just fucking wham,
plays it through with the fucking thing, so he doesn't miss a beat. But that moment when Fletcher walks over to him, and he's just like, he
knows what he's doing. Like he knows. Like he knows that he was getting pushed to the point where he wants him to be like this. And he's like, okay, like he's giving him that look, like, now you fucking get it. So fucking bring it home.
He takes the jacket off and everything, sits it down. He's like, he's in that fucking mood, man. Like, I got chills.
He's like changing
right
tempo. He's going
it's
down to like
scene.
fucking like one beat, and then he goes back up to fucking 400 again.
Well, I like it when
Andrew's
just like going crazy, and I don't know the equipment, but I think it's like one of the cymbals or something starts to like fall down or tilt.
The hi-hat.
Okay, there you go. Then Fletcher comes over and adjusts it for him, because he's like he realizes like, okay, this is what I've.
Oh no, that was one of the crashes. That was one of the crashes that fell over. My bad. Yeah. And he comes over and he's like,
he fixes it for him because he's like, he realizes that, hey, this is what I've been working towards my whole career, is trying to, mold somebody into this great, performer. And now it's happening before my eyes. Yeah. He's just loving it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's like whenever the goosebumps even come back, because you're just like, okay, like he's fucking digging it, because this kid is killing the shit out of these drums. Like he's fucking like the whole kit's rocking around. And he's just fucking going off.
Yeah, dude.
And then like he slows down the tempo, brings it back up, and then like he does like another fucking crazy solo. And he's like telling him, he's like back and forth. So he's just fucking whipping it. And then it slows down, and then he stops, and then they fucking come back in again. And then fucking just straight up fucking credits.
It's like Fletcher's like, he's bobbing his head and getting into it, and he's like, like, he's I don't know, there's just something about that whole scene where it's like what both people were trying to achieve, they achieved it in that one moment. And it's so just
it's perfect.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene. It is. It really is. You don't really need to know.
It's very.
The climax is amazing.
I bet it was.
It was. He popped off and everything.
But no, being serious, it's a very profound moment, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, even earlier you're speaking about Chuck was talking about the passion," and really, whenever I watch it, the way I interpret it, it's not really about the music. It's about these two characters, and with Andrew, he's basically one of these people that his whole life he's felt like he's nothing, but he knows deep down that that's not the case. It's just like the world has made him feel this ways, and he has this chip on his shoulder where he's like trying to prove to the world, look, I am somebody, I am special, I am important, I can do this. And for Fletcher, he spent his whole career trying to find that special person, that bird or whoever. And it's like, he just goes through all these people, and it's like, the Sean Casey was probably the one that made it the furthest. We never really get any validation on that, but it's just like, he keeps grinding on these kids, in the school or whatever. And he's just like, no, it's just mediocrity. And he never finds what he's looking for. And like you said, Chuck, in that one moment, the validation comes for both of them, where he's like, I found what I'm looking for. And Andrew is like, I finally became what I knew I could be. Right. And it's just kind of like a magic moment.
Yeah.
when I was first introduced to this movie, like I said, my guitar player Josh, he was like, "Dude," he's like, "You need to watch Whiplash." And I was like, "All right," and I'm just like, "Okay, it's just another drama about the." Like, I honestly went into it thinking it was going to be like some kind of just drum version of like some dance or musical or some shit, and I was like, but at the same point, I knew Josh wouldn't lead me in the wrong direction. But as soon as I fucking started watching this movie, man, I really picked up on it on the vibe of a lot of things. And the more that I've watched it, like I've said multiple times throughout this whole podcast, I've picked up on more. And it's a good story, and it has a great. I mean, that ending is just so refreshing, because you're like, all right, cool. Like, there's not many movies at all, no matter if it's horror, drama, comedy, whatever, that have an ending that make me feel like this ending has. You know what I mean? Like, this is got to be top 5 favorite endings of all time.
Like I said, like, this is a first time watch for me and Mike, and on your recommendation, I will definitely say I dig it, man. Like, it's a pretty dope movie. Like I said, it's definitely the best thing ever that I've seen with the name of Blumhouse on it, even though it was just Jason. That pretty much was one of the producers, but yeah, like I'm not mad. Like, I've watched it, like I said, I watched it twice all the way through in the last 2 days, and then I skimmed through it the last time we watched it, which I mean, I only skimmed through certain parts, like the diner scene and shit. Like, I watched all the fucking the main drumming scenes over.
It's a very rewatchable movie. It's one of those that if it's on, I'm going to watch the whole thing, no matter what point it's at. If somebody wants to watch it, yeah, I'm down.
It's definitely out of our comfort zone.
It just has. It really is. Like I told our old friend of the show, Whitman, earlier that we were doing Whiplash, and he was like, "That's a weird one," and I was like, or he said it's different or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I was like, it's my choice. I was like, I'm trying to think outside the box.
Us Clarks are switching things up a bit.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'll always be doing horror on my choice and all that stuff. But like, I think there's a few movies that I really appreciate and really enjoy that aren't horror. This one, I was like, man, I need a good reason to sit down and just watch this movie, because I don't have time unless it's this shit. And I love this movie. I absolutely 100% love it.
I really enjoyed it, and
I also knew you all would like it,
because I wouldn't have watched it otherwise.
Yeah, I figured it was one you all would like too, because
I enjoyed it.
You all like a good story. You all like
I want something that can pull my attention in, and then I follow it. Like, I don't get bored or have it on as like background noise. And this movie, like, as soon as I put it on, like, I was pretty much intrigued. Like, once the storyline with Fletcher and Andrew just kept growing and going back and forth, because you knew there was more behind it than what you knew at the time. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, it all falls into place once you realize what the fuck just happened. Like, he threw the fucking symbol at fucking Charlie Parker. Andrew's Charlie Parker.
Just real quick, Mike. Just real quick. Also, something that we forgot, we didn't mention at the end, after he goes back in to do his part and all that. When he's doing the solo and all that, where his dad, where Paul Rice is looking through the door, and there's that moment where he goes, he's fucking doing it. Just had that moment.
That seems nice too, because he has that look on his face, like, holy fuck, like, my son is killing this shit right now.
Yeah, that's kind of without getting too fucking sentimental or whatever. That's kind of like what all of us creatives want. Some kind of validation, appreciation. Pride when it comes down to our families. Yeah. Actually seeing what we do and all that. And yeah.
That was definitely a good movie.
I have it. I will say I do have a lot of motivation from family, most of my family, but other part of my family not so much, but whatever.
No, I enjoy this movie all the way through, or else I wouldn't have. I mean, I tend to watch movies that we do multiple times anyway before we do them, just so I have them fresh in my head, because I watch a lot of dumb shit. Like, I was watching some dumb shit yesterday when Mike was over.
Oh yeah,
fucking Freddie Frico.
Oh,
It's
I want
goofy
to
as
see
fuck.
that.
It's like a horror
course
movie
it
with
is.
Garbage Pail Kids. I don't fucking know. But
I
yeah, I
can't
mean,
wait
I
to watch
want
it.
to rewatch it because we were outside doing shit. But yeah, definitely. Like I said, thanks for the recommendation because I never would have watched it, and it was a very good film, and I enjoyed watching it all 3 times. Even though I've watched it 3 times in the last, what the fuck time is it? 24 hours? Not even 24 hours.
Oh yeah. Well, you all do the same for me. So,
I enjoyed it. I've only watched it the one time, but it's interesting, just now sitting down and talking to you guys about it. There's so much, it's not just like, okay, I watched it and it's over with. The thing that I always enjoy about films is being able to kind of dissect some of the characters and go deeper into it. When it has that depth to where, it's not just, cut and dry. You look at these 2 characters and you can really, dissect them to where it's like, okay, these guys are like fucking so self-absorbed. It's like, yeah, they're assholes, but you're rooting for them at the same time.
Right.
Because like I said, Andrew is so self-absorbed to where he's like, I got to prove myself. And fucking Fletcher is so self-absorbed that he's like, oh, I got to find the next big thing. And it's like they're in their own little world and everything else doesn't matter. So, and it's like, at what point, does it become destructive? You know what I mean? We see earlier on with the Sean Casey kid, what happens there. And all the other kids, you see all the band members look traumatized, and it's like, Fletcher explains at the bar, he's like, if that's what I got to do to get that greatness out of somebody, then it's worth it. But is it? That's something that it's up for debate, because it's like, okay, yeah, if you produce this great musician, but at what cost is acceptable? To him,
Right.
There is no line. But to a lot of people, it's like, look, you've crossed the line, and it's not, you're not, this kid is basically turning himself in, he's bleeding, he's cutting his hands up, he's mentally fucked. And, it's like he's sacrificing his sanity, his body, everything for this, to just get this guy's approval. And this guy is like abusing these kids and making a kid, do something to himself that, there is no coming back from. So it's like, we talked about Full Metal Jacket earlier. I understand wanting to get the best out of somebody, but is there a line, and is it worth crossing?
There's definitely a line, I feel.
Well, there definitely is, because I mean, there's some people that can handle the kind of abuse that Fletcher gives Andrew in the movie, and then there's some people that just can't handle it at all, which means they can't handle criticism of any caliber.
And that's where
they there's, so it's like the fact that Fletcher kind of uses weaknesses. It's like, you sinister.
He's like the Lex Luthor of the music world.
Yeah, but he's one of the best.
But here's my point. My point of
Yeah,
contention with Fletcher, it becomes to where he's abusing everyone. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're trying to get greatness out of somebody, you need to kind of cherry pick that, because if you're just abusing everybody across the board, then 9.9 out of 10 times, it's not going to work. Like you said, a lot of people can't handle it. Yeah. But it's like, you see from the beginning of this film, Fletcher walks in, like, it's not like Andrew invited him. Andrew's just playing, and Fletcher walks in like he had already kind of scouted him, previously. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go in and check on this kid. And it's just these different tests that he's putting Andrew throughout the film. And it's like, okay, if Fletcher truly sees something in Andrew, like, this guy is great, and I just got to get it out of him, and I'm going to push him, past his limits in order to get that out of him. That's one thing. But for him to do it to all the students is kind of diabolical. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a interesting dynamic with that character.
Well, at least he's not. I mean, like singling people out. Like he's being a certain way, and even though he is pretty brutal to the other people in the band, he has a certain like a difference how he treats Andrew. In certain,
that's because I think he sees the drive that he has, kind of like how he was talking about that Sean Casey dude. He saw something else in him that nobody else did, and he saw it in Andrew as well.
Right. So of course. For me, like I said, if he pushes, if like the Sean Casey or the Andrew, if he pushes those people specifically and acts like a complete, drill sergeant to them, that's one thing. But to be like that to everybody, now you're doing something else. So
right,
like I said, you go ahead.
Also, when it comes down to certain situations, like where somebody's screaming in your face to do better or whatever, I couldn't be able to do it. I couldn't have him, like, even if I knew what he was doing.
Right.
It's like, dude, your words have so much fucking but I'm not fully against that way of motivating. But I do think that there is a way about it to where if you need to be aggressive, you're not aggressive all the time, and the character is extreme. He is a little overboard with how he is, but I think a little bit of aggression is okay, depending on
they do show a soft side.
But is that even real?
Yeah.
Because he lies about what happened to Sean Casey. So is that a manipulation as well?
Well, I feel like
I
feel like that would have been more like he did that to not feel like everybody else's lives were in jeopardy because he was going to push them to the point of suicide. So that's why he kind of dumbed it up, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. Like he's definitely seems very selfish in what he wants to do and how he does it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These characters are so self-absorbed. Fletcher is willing to do this to anybody. Like I said, he's not just cherry picking. He's doing it to everybody because all he cares about is finding that diamond in the rough. And that, he's so self-absorbed.
Yeah.
And with Andrew, he's so self-absorbed. He's going to, talk shit to people. He's going to cut this girl out of his life because my only focus is this validation. So, yeah. That's those characters, and like I said, the just being able to sit down and kind of dissect these characters is fun in itself. And ultimately, with this film, I like how it's kind of universal because it's not, you look at it, it's a drummer music movie or whatever. You can apply this to any craft, any hobby or anything like that. Where it's like, there's so many people out there in the world that feel like they're nothing and that society has just fucking put their boot on their neck and said, you ain't shit and you're never going to be shit. And, it's one of these things where it's like, look, fuck everybody else. I'm going to do what I need to do because I know deep down that I'm good enough. Right. And ultimately I'm going to prove it to the world. And that's, I feel.
And doggone it, people like me.
So ultimately, that's the universal theme of the film. So it doesn't even have to. You have to sit there and see like, oh well, I don't know how to drum. I don't care about drumming, but you can apply it to anything.
It's more than just that. Yeah. It's completely more than just that. It's just the drumming is the metaphor kind of for all of it. You know what I mean? So this movie, there's a lot of people that I know that aren't drummers, don't give a fuck about it, that actually do like this movie a lot. But this is definitely a movie that a lot of drummers I know go, man, that movie is fucking gold. And I'm like, I know, I get it, I totally.
I mean, on the one watch, the rules fucking scale, I'd give it like an 8.6. It's up there.
It's good. It got the awards and the recognition. It was surprising. I think they were saying that Chazelle, whenever he was trying to get this film made, he couldn't get the funding for it, and that's why he ultimately had to make it into a short and submit it to Sundance. Was once he put it in that short and put it out there, he immediately got the funding for it.
Yeah, so, I think when I was talking to Dave about this movie, he was saying that I think it was either Ivan Reitman or Jason Reitman backed this movie. Or help back this movie from being made.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my first.
It doesn't.
No,
Oh,
I was
sorry,
just gonna say it was my first viewing. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm not the biggest Miles Teller guy. You know, I've seen him in a couple things or whatever, but J.K. Simmons is a fucking rock star, and he kills it in this film.
Yeah, fucking great.
Yeah. No, well, fuck, what was I gonna say about it? Yeah, this is also one of those movies where the acting also keeps you invested. You know, there's movies where like there's you know scenes in it where you're like, okay, whatever, you know, but like nonstop, every time these two were in a room together, you're like completely glued to like what you're watching. Like it's a good dynamic. It really is, and it's an important thing in film, and you don't get it much. This movie is so underrated in so many ways. You said when it came out, it was up against two,
Birdman and something else.
Yeah, Birdman. I love Michael Keaton. That movie was garbage. This movie went under the radar. Like it's like when I found out about it, when I was told to watch it, never even heard of it. And I'm like, how the fuck have I even heard of this movie? And it's I if there's ever a movie that I could say that everybody should watch this movie, this is one of them. Because like Michael said, it can go with just it's relatable on so many levels. And it's very powerful, man. And I'm still getting chills just thinking about that.
It's such a great,
I love
great scene. Like as soon as I started, I like felt the goosebumps, and I'm like, damn, I must actually be into this shit.
And the chemistry between Teller and Simmons, man, it's one of those ones where you're watching and you're like, is this going to implode, or are these guys going to come together and make something amazing? You know, you don't know where it's going, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat until that end where it's like, okay, now they're on the same page, and now, you know, it's becoming what we thought it could be.
Yeah, because I was waiting for it to end like with most movies that we watch. Like I was waiting for him to tackle him, pull out a fucking like straight razor and slit his throat, and then fucking credits or whatever. Like
it could have.
Like a One Flew the Cuckoo's Nest kind of ending. We were like, shit,
it could have gone either way.
Yeah, like I was waiting for some shit like that.
It could have. It really could have. He like jabs him in the head with a fucking like drumstick. Like where's that? Well, they should have done an alternate fucking ending. You know, where he just like goes crazy.
Or like you know, Paul Reiser just sees everything his son goes through, and his son is just completely let down by this guy over and over again. It's like as soon as Andrew walks off the stage, Paul Reiser like hugs him and then pulls out a gun and shoots Fletcher. You know, there's so many different ways it could have gone. And
the curtain just does this, and he goes, "He's losing his mind."
The end of Billy Madison
reaping the benefits.
Yeah, it's like the end of Billy Madison and fucking Steve Buscemi's up in the back, fucking with the rifle. I'm glad I called that guy.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, no. This and the thing is, though, is like the ending of this, where it's not like in this bullshit where it's like, okay, the drum solo, the concert's over, and now they're all walking away and everybody's happy. No, it ends after that fucking like that set was done, and you knew that's all you need to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I love the intro to this movie too. Just a black screen with like Whiplash written in like American style font, like typewriter font, and then like that's it. Like that's fucking perfect.
Keep it simple.
A clean cut movie.
There you go.
It's good
Love
shit.
This movie. Love it. I'm so glad that you all liked it too. Like that means a lot to me. I was like, man, I really hope these motherfuckers like it. I figured you would. And
I was surprised because you like some dumb shit, Chuck.
Well, you do.
True.
Too,
it's very true.
You know.
Yeah, because it's next week's pick. We'll get there in a minute.
I got it queued up.
It'll be good on wrapping up the Whiplash. All right. Let's check out and see what the old generators got this week for the clip of the week. Pray we don't get any kind of hits for this shit.
Copyright claim coming up. Huh?
Fucking
bitches.
Shit. This motherfucker. Love this fucking movie.
Yeah, dude. Ah, man, fuck. Yeah, I knew it was going to cut off.
Shoe
before it got
program.
really good.
You know what's crazy? I can't believe they
Is that
did
what
this.
you're going to pick next week?
It was what I like. I had it in the chamber. Literally, I had it in the chamber, and I Googled, and it wasn't streaming on anything. So I was like, you know.
I've got 3 copies of it.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I had it in the chamber, and it's going to happen one of these days. But that's not my pick for next week. I decided to go. Oh, actually, I'm going to ask you guys a question first. What is a ute?
Oh, one of my favorite
That's
comedies
right.
of all
Next
time.
week,
Yes,
we're going to go down to the Sack of
Yes.
Suds with good old My Cousin Vinny, Joe Pesci, Ralph Macchio, Marissa Tomei. We're gonna have some fun.
Oh, God. Yes,
You got mud in your tires,
Yes.
kid.
that movie is so good. Man. Okay,
Yeah,
I
for
won't go
next
into it
week.
now, but good pick.
Yeah.
Fucking, that's one of my favorites. Fuck,
All
yeah,
right.
that's awesome.
Let's run
Good
some
one.
ads. First, we coming up with our buddy Tony Walsh's ad for Better Luck Than Chuck, which is being filmed as we speak. He's doing the first season run. Check him out on Instagram. It's Scott's already Chuck. And
Speaking of
this shit,
jazz,
this shit looks
yeah.
fun. So I cannot wait to actually watch that and then have him and his wife on the show to have a little trivia night. So that's much looking
That'd be
forward
cool.
to. Hopefully we can still get that going on because I know he's fucking busy now. So hopefully whenever he slows up a little bit, we can get something in the works. And our ads per-usual for Mike and the Nasty.
Hey everybody, Laser Trading Company is on YouTube. See some of the videos from Mike's travels and experiences. If you haven't already, please head over and subscribe. 7,800 and growing. Thank you all. Laser Trading Company is also available on eBay with various merchandise and collectibles. Hundreds of great gift ideas. That's Laser Trading Company. Laser Trading Company. Laser Trading Company.
You know him from Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, Nasty Nation, Graveyard Talk, and the video Store Clerks Podcast. He is the creator of Stoner Gore.
Jack Nasty! And if you're looking for the latest in extreme horror, head over to Amazon.com. Look up Chuck Nasty, and the following titles are available. Along with the latest album, Decay of Man, from Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube now.
And Chuck's other books. Would you like to speak upon this, Chuckle?
I would. This is my most recent release. It's a collection called Twisted Eyeball Juice, and that is The Rocking Chair, a novella that was in Diaries of the Depraved, an anthology a while back. Twisted Eyeball Juice is the collection with mainly stories from other anthologies that I've had stuff in, with one story that no one has ever seen. It's a story that has been it was originally written for a comic book, didn't happen, so I rewrote it and did some stuff with it. And it's got some of my favorites in there, so it's definitely one that I highly recommend people pick up. And The Rocking Chair is a quick read. It's about 100 pages, and it goes to show you need to kind of look into the history of furniture when you go and buy stuff at a yard sale or something. Because and it also was the reason I wrote it was because I was like, anything can be horror. And I was like, rocking chair, go with it. I've also got another one that I've been thinking about writing at some point called The Couch.
Wait, wasn't that a horror movie already? The Couch?
What?
There's one called Killer Sofa.
Killer Sofa. What was the tire one?
Well,
Tires.
Oh God, that movie is so stupid. I can't remember. Yeah, it was just called Tire or something like that. It never had a name. No, it was so bad. Yeah, fucking bad. But you can make just about anything horror. you know. So couches, rocking chairs, you know, lazy boys, you know. I've got a whole idea about all kinds of stupid shit. So that's coming. But the other one's Twisted Eyeball Juice, which that title accidentally came about because of my son Dax. And he gets a real kick out of it. And he's the one that came up with the concept idea of the cover.
Our little nephew's
my
killing
publisher said, yeah, my publisher said, well, what about the cover? And I asked Dax, I was like, what should we do about the cover? And he goes, how about a bunch of eyeballs in a blender? And I went, we can do that, kid. And he goes, good. And then I showed it to him, and he loved it. And yeah, and I'm very proud of this collection. Yeah. So
I still haven't received mine, but they're on order.
I haven't received mine either yet, but I've got a bunch of them on the way.
All right, so
Michael's
Mike
got
did get them. Mike's jamming away with his choppy sticks. Choppy the pee-pee.
Yeah.
Hey. All right.
See, it's a good thing I don't have drumsticks here, because the whole time
I was actually thinking that
be like on silent. So, you know, I have one drumstick here in my house.
I got a box of drumsticks in the freezer.
They probably don't melt, so it's okay.
Anyway.
Well, that's your clerks for this week. Thank you for stopping by. Next week, we are going to be doing Mike's Pick, My Cousin Vinny, which is a great movie. So try to get in there and watch that if you haven't seen it, so you can come watch the show next week and jump in the chat. It was kind of quiet this evening.
I believe it's on Hulu, actually.
On the Hulu. So go check out My Cousin Vinny on the Hulu, and then we will see you next Tuesday.
Keep my tempo. Keep faster.